What's going on, guys? Venomousfatman here, and I got a brand new segment of The Verdict for you right now. The movie I'm talking about today is Transformers Dark of the Moon by Michael Bay, directed by Michael Bay. Has Shia LaBeouf in it. You know, pretty much same standard formula from any other Transformers movie that's already been happening for the past couple years that Michael Bay has done. So what's the deal with this movie? What's so big about it? Number one, there was rumors going around that this is probably Michael Bay's last take on the Transformers franchise. So a lot of people got a little bit excited because they haven't liked what he's done with the Transformers property and the franchise. But also, people want to kind of give him one last chance to see if he actually does something right for a lot of the fanboys out there that have been complaining. So, what happened during the movie? Overall, this movie, without giving too much plot points away, the movie is about pretty much Sam Witwicky. You know, it's still the main focus of the entire franchise, the main human character. He's actually right now in the process of trying to get employed. You know, he's moving up in the world. He's graduated from college. He's actually trying to get a job, and he's having some hardships, you know, dealing with both the economy and everything else around him. He's got a new girlfriend now, in case you guys haven't already known. It's been old news for a while now. Megan Fox is not the main actual kind of, female interest, the love interest this time around. They actually got a Victoria's Secret model that's got a British accent, or I believe she's British, from the UK. That she's now Sam's new girlfriend. She's actually different from Michaela completely. Michaela was kind of, the hardcore bad girl type of thing, where she was really into cars and stuff. This girl, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, I should say, this girl, on the other hand, is a completely different, complete 180 from her. She's actually, well sophisticated, poised, punctual. She's into cars, very similar, the whole love, interest into automobiles and stuff. She's an actual kind of, luxury car dealer, I want to say, per se, like that. She's actually pushing Sam to actually go out and get a job, actually make something of himself to be successful and stuff like that. Completely different from what we originally got from Megan Fox, which is pretty cool. I did not mind it. I thought it was interesting. It was kind of the way they actually handled Megan Fox not being part of the franchise anymore. I thought it was really well handled. I enjoyed it. They did kind of put a little nudge into about Megan Fox leaving the franchise. How that she dumped Sam, which I thought was kind of funny. A lot of people in the movie theater I saw thought that was hilarious, but it wasn't really kind of harped on. They didn't really kind of make that one of the bigger things inside the film, which I thought was good, and I really enjoyed that because I didn't care for that whole thing with her leaving the franchise and her arguing with Michael Bay and stuff. But getting back to the movie. Movie has a lot of action sequences. What's going down now is that the Decepticons have kind of gone into hiding a little bit, after the events of the second movie. The Autobots are helping out, human beings and human society and different problems, involving the Middle East and stuff. But the big kind of, mystery and the big, plot behind this movie is that during the space race, John F. Kennedy sent up a bunch of astronauts on the Apollo 11 over to the moon to explore. Instead of actually, what the public saw is actually exploring the moon and being the first people on the moon, it was actually to explore an alien spacecraft, an actual, Transformer spacecraft called the Ark. In case you guys know what the Ark is this giant ship that was from the original Transformers property, but it's different in this actual movie. To explore because they crash land on the dark side of the moon, which is the part of the moon that isn't kind of, not visible to us, that doesn't have the most sunlight, that actually is not seen by us here on Earth. So, on that dark side of the moon, they actually explore it. They discover Sentinel Prime, which was the original Autobot leader. Now, he gets into much more plot points. A whole bunch of stuff happened with him, the Autobots and Decepticons and stuff, as the plot moves along. I'm not going to spoil it because this is a long movie. There's a lot of information that comes out of it. Last time I checked, when I got out of the movie theater, it runned in close to about 3 hours, about 2.5 hours within that time frame. There's a lot of stuff, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on with them. Overall, through the long run, without giving too much away, again, a whole big battle, happens. The Autobots are trying to find this machine that they have to prevent the Decepticons from getting. Otherwise, it would cause some major havoc on Earth and pretty much eradicate all human beings, all human life. It's pretty crazy. You have these giant battles with these giant Transformers destroying Chicago. A whole bunch of crazy stuff. You've probably seen it in the trailers. This tentacle-looking or this worm-looking Transformer looks really awesome. I really have to give it to the guys that did the CG work on this. It was top-notch. Now, moving on from that. Okay, overall, was this movie good? I have to say, it was decent. It was not perfect. It's not the Transformers movie I don't think anybody was looking for. I don't think it's the Transformers movie that everybody really kind of wanted Michael Bay to actually deliver on. It was decent fun for a summer movie. It was okay. It wasn't, completely awesome. but it really had, it really had its good points, but it also had its really bad points. Some of the bad points being there are some plot holes here and there. There's some characters where you could kind of infer what happens to them, whether they die or not, or whether they actually, kind of just, ride off into the sunset or whatever. There are some points like that, but they never fully explain it to you. I think they maybe hint it a couple times, or they're really subtle about what happens to them, and you never hear about them in the movie again. There are other characters in there that are even from previous Transformers movies that are there, but they don't really do much. Like it feels like they don't have enough screen time or as much screen time as they may have had in the older movies in the first two Transformers. But they're there and they're actually kind of, trying to contribute something, but they're not quite there getting it yet. Now, one of those characters would be the original agent from Sector 70. I forgot his name at the moment, but if you guys have seen the movies, you know who I'm talking about. He's the comic relief for the whole franchise. He comes in almost about midway into the movie and towards the end, and then there's a point where he just kind of disappears for like the later half of the movie, or he just pops in every once in a while, says like a line, and then just leaves. I thought that was kind of weird. If that was the case, it would have been better not to have him in the movie in the first place. But that's just me, in my opinion. Of just someone who's watching the movie. Michael Bay may have thought differently, as a lot of people may have thought so. Besides that, I like the idea that, there's this human element that's working with the Decepticons. That's a big thing. That's not so much of a spoiler, you get that within the first couple minutes of the movie. It's not really deep into it, but there are some humans that are actually working with the Decepticons, or actually trying to work hand in hand, trying to bring out this whole, genocide / apocalypse or / takeover type of thing. I thought that was actually interesting. I thought that was a really good thing that Michael Bay did, because we've seen all the humans for the most part working with the Autobots, but it's kind of unfair to say that there aren't humans out there that maybe side with the Decepticons because they want to, side with the side that they believe has the most power, quote unquote. So, overall, besides that, the action sequences were great. A lot of explosions. The action sequences, apart from Transformers 1, they're a little more legible, a little more visible this time. You actually see certain sections that are going on. It does have older problems, like I said, with a couple other shots that maybe, you're not really getting or not really seeing what's going on because it's moving so crazy and fast all over the place, all the crazy movements and stuff. But, it's not throughout the entire film. There are some sections where there are some good things going on. You can actually see them. You could appreciate how awesome they look, the CG work. Now, my other big problem, this is going to be spoilers, so if you guys don't want to hear this, you can move on ahead into the video, but, it's just going to be a small section. I might not even harp on it in a minute or two. Pretty much, there are some Transformers in this movie that die, that get killed off, and I feel, it's going to be hard kind of making a sequel with them. I'm not going to say exactly who it is. You watch the movie and you guys are going to be like, wow, can't believe they actually killed that Transformer off. They shouldn't have done that. There was some that I felt like, should have still stood alive towards the very end because they have a big impact. They could have had a big impact on the plot, or they could have had a bigger relationship with some of the characters and what they were dealing with at the time. That's at least my opinion. But there were some cool sections towards the end that were certain characters, I should say, deal with a lot of hardships. They actually have a lot of growth. Then there's some characters that die that should have died a long time ago, or at least it was a good point in time for them to go, which I thought was really good. But I felt like Michael Bay really maybe had to actually do a little bit more planning with them. That's all I'm going to say on that without giving too much away, because like I said, once you see the movie, you will get exactly what I'm talking about here. Moving on from there, bottom line is this. Like I said before, Transformers Dark of the Moon is a decent movie. It's not a great movie, but at the same time, it's not a terrible movie. It is an okay movie, great for a summer blockbuster if you just want to chill, roll with it, eat some popcorn, and watch a good movie. That's all I got for you guys. That's my opinion on Transformers Dark of the Moon. Leave your comments and video responses. I don't mind. Just keep it civil. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie. If you've seen it, talk about it in the comment section below. If you loved it, hate it, thought it was okay, didn't care whatsoever, put it on there. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Venomous is out. That's all I got for you guys. This has been The Verdict. Take it easy, everybody.